Welcome to Crystal Lake, screenplay by Mike Meade. Fade in. Exterior, rural New Jersey, highway, day. A luxury SUV speeds down the road. It heads toward a small town in the distance. A sign reads, "Welcome to Crystal Lake." Exterior town, day. The SUV drives down the main street. It's lined with small businesses. Few people walk down the sidewalks. Interior SUV, day. Sean, 30s, in business suit, drives. Frank, 50s, also in business attire, rides in the passenger seat. Marta, 30s, in a sexy skirt and blouse, rides in the back seat. A crazed old man on a bicycle rides down the street. He glares at the SUV as it passes.
Jesus. Would you look at these fucking people?
These ignorant hicks don't even realize what our client's revenue will do for this place.
No different than when we moved the meatpacking plant to Nilbog, or when we bought out the Silver Shamrock factory in Santa Mira. People always resist change.
Exterior cemetery, day. The SUV drives down a paved country road toward a cemetery. A wrought iron archway is at its entrance. The SUV turns onto a dirt road opposite the cemetery. It heads deep into a wooded area. Interior SUV, day. Sean drives too fast. Frank and Marta bounce around in their seats. They pass a rusty mailbox with Voorhees painted on it. Several homemade no trespassing signs are stuck in the ground along the road. A small clearing appears ahead. A run-down trailer house sits in the clearing. Beyond the trailer is Crystal Lake.
I can't believe people actually live like this.
You won't have to if he accepts my offer.
Sean and Marta chuckle.
Sure, Frank, with what you're offering, he'll be able to afford the nicest double-wide money can buy.
Exterior, Elias's trailer, day. The SUV pulls up in front of the trailer. Frank, Sean, and Marta climb out. Elias Voorhees, 60, large-framed, opens his door. He stands in the doorway and glares at the intruders.
Good afternoon, Mr. Voorhees.
Was till you all showed up.
Frank feigns amusement.
Well, now you know why we're here. You have an answer for me?
Sure do.
And?
Elias spits.
Everybody ever cared about has lived and died here in Crystal Lake. I reckon it's only right that I should die here too.
That can be arranged?
Jason Voorhees, a hulking, disfigured man in a hockey mask, watches from a vantage point in the trees.
Now, I'm sure Mr. Voorhees is a reasonable man and is willing to work something out. Isn't that right, Elias?
As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to work out. So why don't you take your fancy clothes and get back in your fancy car and get the hell off my property?
You're making a big mistake.
Only mistake I made was not filling your car full of buckshot the moment I saw you coming down the road. Now, kid.
You'll regret this.
Frank, Sean, and Marta climb back in the SUV. Sean starts the engine and spins the tires as he takes off down the road.
Suits.
Elias closes the door and walks toward the lake. Jason turns and disappears into the trees. Exterior lake, day. Elias, teary-eyed, stands at the edge of the lake. He gazes across the water. The sun sets behind the hills. Jason appears in the trees, watches Elias from a distance.
Got a bad feeling my time here's running out, son. Can't stay in the way of progress, I suppose.
Elias hangs his head. Jason moves closer silently.
I miss you, son. I just wanted you to know that before my time here's done.
Tears stream down Elias's face as he turns and walks away. Jason slowly hangs his head. Exterior construction site, night. Sean leans against the SUV. It's parked next to a partially framed building. Random tools are scattered about. Old camp cabins are in the background. A sign reads, "Coming soon, Crystal Lake Resort." An architect's drawing of the future resort is below. Two headlights appear in the distance. They approach the construction site. Sean looks at his watch as the car pulls up and stops. Tom, 30, shady, steps out of the car.
You're late.
Tom scans the area.
Where's Frank?
Couldn't make it.
Should have figured. It's just like Frank sending a lawyer to do his dirty work.
Let's cut the bullshit. You know why you're here. Frank wants this problem gone.
When you say gone?
I mean gone, for good.
Sure. But it'll cost her.
Frank's willing to pay an extra 10 grand on top of the usual.
Then consider your problem gone.
Exterior, Elias's trailer, night. Lights are on in the trailer. Elias' shadow moves about inside. Tom creeps through the bushes toward the trailer, a can of gasoline in each hand. He steps on a branch. Snap! He stops. Elias comes to the window, peers outside, then walks back out of sight. Tom continues toward the trailer. Another branch snaps. Tom stops and turns. Jason suddenly appears, drives the wooden stake end of a no trespassing sign deep into the top of Tom's head. The cans of gas fall from Tom's hands. His body falls to the ground. Jason drags the body away from the trailer. Interior, Frank's cabin, night. Frank, Sean, and Marta sit at a table and sip wine. An open briefcase is in front of Frank. It's full of $100 bills.
Still can't believe that old fart wouldn't sell.
Frank gazes at the briefcase and shakes his head.
These rednecks don't have any common sense.
Marta finishes her glass.
Well, that does it for me. I think I'm gonna hit the hay, boys.
She winks at Sean as she rises from the table. Sean gets the hint. Frank closes the briefcase.
Alright, but meet us back here bright and early. We still have a lot to discuss.
Sure. Right after I have room service sent up for breakfast.
Marta walks toward the door, stops, and turns back. She feigns disappointment.
Oh, wait. There is no room service out here, is there?
I'm not paying for 3 rooms in town when we can stay in these cabins for free. Besides, we might as well get a little use out of them before we tear them down.
Not like any of these roach motels around here would have room service anyway.
You never know.
Even if they did, would you really want it?
Frank laughs.
It'd probably be made by some ex-con, learned to cook while doing time.
Anyway,
Marta turns and exits the cabin. Sean stands up and stretches, fakes a yawn.
I think I'm gonna turn in too, Frank.
Sure. Just remember, bright and early.
Frank gives Sean a look. Sean nods, then turns and exits the cabin.
I swear those two must think I'm friggin' blind. Always going at it like a couple of jackrabbits. Oh, what I wouldn't give to be 20 years younger.
Interior, Marta's cabin, night. Marta sits on a couch in her bathrobe. A fire crackles in the fireplace. A glass dildo sits on an end table next to the couch. A knock at the door.
door's open.
Sean enters the cabin. Marta unties her bathrobe as Sean walks toward her. He notices the dildo.
What's that for?
Marta glances at the dildo, then back to Sean.
That's for later, if you can't get the job done.
Sean leans in close to Marta.
I always get the job done.
We'll see.
Sean and Marta kiss passionately. Jason's hockey-masked face appears in the window behind them. Exterior, Marta's cabin, night. Sean exits the cabin, notices his pants are still unzipped, stops and zips them back up.
Don't want that hanging out in the breeze.
He walks toward another cabin. Jason stalks him through the adjacent trees. Sean stops and looks over his shoulder. Jason has vanished. Sean reaches the cabin, stops at the front door, and fumbles with his keys. He laughs at himself, shakes his head, then swings the door open.
Of course. Nobody locks their doors in the country.
Sean begins to enter, but Jason grabs him from behind and spins him around. Jason pins Sean's head against the wall with his hand. Sean struggles desperately. Jason thrusts his free hand into Sean's throat and yanks his tongue out the hole. It hangs down Sean's chest like a Colombian necktie. Interior, Marta's cabin, night. Marta sleeps on a couch, head next to the end table. The fire smolders in the fireplace. The door creaks open. Marta stirs, eyes shut.
If you came back to finish the job, you're too late.
Marta opens her eyes and looks up. Jason stands above her with the glass dildo raised high. Marta opens her mouth to scream. Jason plunges the dildo into Marta's eye socket. Her body goes limp. Interior, Frank's cabin, night. Frank sits and pats the briefcase. He downs the last of the wine in his glass, grabs a bottle and refills it. He stares at the briefcase.
You know, some people say you're the root of all evil, but you know what I say?
He pauses as if expecting a response.
That's right. Fuck 'em.
Frank chuckles to himself, then sighs.
Those poor bastards. They've never had enough money to know what they're talking about anyhow.
He raises his glass to his lips when, crash, Jason bursts through the front door. Frank jumps up in terror, spills his wine everywhere.
Oh, Jesus!
Frank grabs the briefcase and runs for the back door. Jason strides through the room. He overturns the table as he marches past it. Frank exits the cabin and slams the door shut behind him. Jason reaches the back door. He kicks it down and exits. Exterior construction site, night. Frank heads to the construction site. Sweat pours from his forehead. He hides in the partially framed building, but Jason is close behind. Frank backs up against a plywood wall. A circular saw blade whizzes through the air. Thunk! The blade sticks in the wood right next to his head. He turns and runs. Another saw blade whizzes through the air. It sticks in the back of Frank's thigh. He screams as he falls to the ground. The briefcase hits the ground, pops open on impact. Money scatters everywhere. Jason walks toward Frank's crumpled body. He carries a sledgehammer. Frank rolls onto his back, stares up at Jason, eyes wide.
Please, take the money, just don't kill me, please!
Jason looks to the money, then back to Frank. He raises the hammer.
No! Wait!
Jason smashes Frank's face with the hammer. He continues repeatedly until Frank's head is a pile of mush. He drops the bloody hammer next to Frank's body. Exterior, Elias's trailer, day. Early morning, Elias steps out his front door, steaming mug of coffee in hand. Something catches his eye. Frank's blood-spattered briefcase sits on the ground nearby. He walks to the briefcase, kneels down, and opens it. His face lights up at the sight of all the money inside. Exterior, Elias's new trailer, day. Superimposed 2 weeks later. Elias stands in front of a brand new double-wide trailer. It sits right next to his old one. He wears a tacky Hawaiian shirt and grills steaks on a barbecue. Classic rock blares from a portable stereo in the yard. 2 plastic pink flamingos are stuck in the ground next to it. Elias hums to the music and grins. Jason watches his father from the trees. He turns, walks away, and disappears into the forest.